Hey traders, in this week's video I wanted to address a couple of key questions that I've had, in particularly over the past couple of months, and another question that I get all the time. So the first question is, how have you kept your head above water throughout the last couple of months, because the markets have been much more unpredictable than usual? And then the second question was, what's the basis of my ethics when it comes to trading? What do I base my approach on? So first question, how have I kept my head above water? Well, to acknowledge that question, guys, first of all, I've got to say, try not to worry too much about the fact that the last couple of months in particular have been a struggle. So you can see I'm still up by 20% for the month, for the year, which is actually my yearly target with my clients' accounts. So we're quite safe there. However, we did have some drawdown. So as you can see, in May, I had a relatively substantial loss in May with the unpredictable dollar. So that was when Yellen was saying one thing, but the news was saying another. So Fed Chair Yellen was insistent that we are on track for a rate hike, yet throughout these speeches she was giving, we were having continued bad data come through on the news feeds from the US. So the markets around the dollar were jumping up and down and very unpredictable. June, we had a little bit of a loss, nothing particularly substantial though. So again, that was pretty much around the unpredictability of the euro. So in terms of how I adapt to the markets, or how I keep my head above water, the simplest way to answer that question, guys, is I just keep on going. So, I don't let loser months phase me, because I'm quite confident that the longer term picture, i.e. what the accounts will read at the end of the year, will be a nice profit with relatively small drawdown. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Okay, so as I said, I'm about 20% up for the year, so things are quite healthy. But despite the fact that I make a full-time living from Forex alone, I still have loser months. So to acknowledge the question you guys have asked, I wanted to say, just don't be fazed by the occasional losing month. It's part of trading. Most traders there's very few traders out there, if any, that will never have a losing month. So don't worry about it, guys. Just keep consistent, keep your risk low, and just adapt to the markets. Be aware of what's going on, and you'll be okay. Which leads me to the second question. So what's the basis of my trading? Well, of course, I have technical strategies, so methods to enter and exit the markets. But more important than that, I don't even open up a chart until I know what's been going on fundamentally. Okay? That's kind of one of the bases of what I do. So I use a service called Ransquawk. Now, I'm not affiliated with them in any way. It's just the service I choose to use, because you get institutional level information on a live news feed, along with various research tools and videos and daily analysis, which is really, really useful. They also have an onboard set of professional analysts that you can talk to if needs be. So it's a really good service, guys. It's what I use, and it's the core of how I start each day. So all I do, I go to the European opening news, the same for the New York session, and have a look at the highlights through what's been going on and make myself aware. So we can see already the Aussie dollar is underperforming, whereas the New Zealand dollar is extending on gains. And if we go down to the FX breakdown, it's a bit small today. We are still looking for more to come through on the feeds throughout the week. But we can see that the Aussie dollar has struggled because the Reserve Bank of Australia minutes stated that further depreciation is likely and needed, whereas the New Zealand dollar did see some extensions on their gains after their finance minister stated that dairy prices should recover by year end. And on top of this, the Tokyo-based banks did buy into the New Zealand dollar against the yen. So with that in mind, the Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, we know it's going to be looking very, very bearish. If we load up MT4 now, we'll see the same thing. So as you can see, we were already dropping anyway, but we've dropped much, much further by around another 100 pips since that news hit the feeds. And you can see we already had a sell level highlighted out as well. That was just covered in the live trading room I run. So yeah, that's pretty much the basis of my trading. So I don't even open a chart until I know what's been going on prior to the session I'm about to trade. That's the sole basis of my trading. So with that in mind, the Aussie dollar and the New Zealand dollar would be my kind of trading currencies of choice. Now, of course, there is a bit more than that. You know, I do build a fundamental picture throughout the week. So if I show you an example of this, I'll log on to the live trading room now, just to kind of show you guys what I'm referring to. So what we're doing, if you can see over here at the top left, I've got an overview pod that I run. Now, in a nutshell, if we go on to this, so we have an overview of what's been going on the week we're in, but then also an overview as to what's gone on beforehand. So in a nutshell, what that then gives is a list of strong currencies and weak currencies. So we ignore currencies outside of these lists and simply piece together the strong with the weak to give us our trading pair and directions. So just to show you that in effect, so if we go to the dollar Aussie, so the Aussie dollar, so we know the Aussie's weak, the dollar's a bit stronger, so overall the picture should be bearish on the Aussie dollar pair. So let's have a look. And we'll do this with a couple of pairs. And again, I'm just showing you guys exactly how I base my trading day. As I said, of course, there's technical strategies that I use, but I don't touch those until I know what's been going on. And of course, as you can see there, we've got a long-term downtrend that's continuing throughout this week on the Aussie US dollar. And again, all this is just a currency watch list I've built from those Rand Squawk feeds and keeping an eye on what's going on in the markets. So another one, let's have a look at the dollar CAD. So that should be looking quite bullish. So if we have a look at that. So again, long-term upwards trends looking fairly good for this week. And going on the top down, while we've hit a bit of a lid or a top, we are still looking quite bullish overall. So the long-term fundamental picture on the chart's definitely bullish. So I'll be looking for buys on that pair according to my technical methods. So what I'm trying to get at, guys, is that I don't do anything until I know what the fundamental picture is. So the fundamental picture is the very, very first thing I look at. Now, Rand Squawk is quite expensive, so there is a bit of a simpler way you can do this, and that's just to go onto Bloomberg through Google and click on markets. And they have all the relevant information you need here as well. So you can just scroll down, have a little look, pick out the currency related stuff and use that to build your own fundamental picture. Okay, so with the live trading room, guys, you can get access to that, so do feel free to have a look. We operate through the London and New York sessions. The New York session is probably the busier one. We have more people signed in at that time. But you'll find it really useful and it'll just help you build that fundamental picture. Okay, so that's how I operate. So that's the answer to the two questions. So just to recap what those questions were. How do you keep your head above water when things get tough? I carry on. What's the basis of my trading? It's simply knowing what's going on, and rather than knowing what patterns are going on, it's knowing the reasons behind those patterns. Okay guys, so I'm Ben Nathan, and hopefully I'll see you guys throughout one of the courses I offer or in the live trading room, and hopefully help you guys out. Cheers.